Hi everyone, this is your superpower kid, Neva Lee Recla, and I'm so excited for today's interview. We are talking about business with kids. So the reason I chose business with kids is because it really ties into me and my family's life, because I started business at a young age and my parents have always been there to support me, and we've been doing it as a family. So that's why I chose that topic. And our guests today are Greg and Colt Reid. Colt is 7 years old and attends Greg's event, which is Secret Knock. And it is an amazing, amazing business conference that I got to attend. And Greg is awesome. Colt is awesome. So I'm so excited to have them on my show. So without further ado, help me welcome our amazing guests, Greg and Colt.
Hi, and then guys. The crowds go wild. Yay!
So the first question is, what are your guys' superpowers?
Oh, that's a great one. I think yours is making friends, don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes pretty good friends wherever he goes. And I think mine is connections. Like we end up, being able to find great connections and resources and then help other people with those as well.
That's a good superpower, because also being able to connect, and especially like a business conference or just in regular life, can really help make someone's day.
That's absolutely true. It's interesting. I think it's the words that we use that help people, don't you think? So every day, last year he had a audio, what was it, Amazon, right?
Yeah, Amazon audio bestseller.
Yeah, Amazon bestseller on Amazon, and it was all about your mantra, right? And so it's about the words that we use. And for some reason, people really grasped onto that.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. And it's really important with the words we use, because we have to be careful sometimes, because sometimes when you say something rude to someone, it comes back at you and it hurts you even more. So it's really important, especially Colt, you at a very young age, being able to learn that. So that's cool.
Yeah, and before he goes to bed, he says, "Want to hear it?" It's kind of cool. It says, "My name's Colt.
My name's Colt.
I'm happy.
I'm happy.
I'm powerful. I'm brave.
I'm brave.
I'm wise.
I'm wise.
I'm worthy.
I'm worthy.
I'm successful.
I'm successful.
I help people.
I help people.
My name's Colt."
Cool.
So every single day when you say that type of stuff before you go to bed, then all of a sudden that's the last things in your brain and it feeds you.
Yeah, that's a really smart idea. So, Colt, do you do business?
Yes.
Yes. Can you tell me a little bit more about what business you do?
Well, on Amazon, you have a best-selling CD, so you make money from that, right? And then also, what's some of the other things that you do? It's kind of interesting. I guess one of the other things you just do is chores around the house and make money, right?
Yeah.
That's cool. And sometimes I find that like the simplest things that you do can help you turn it into something really big. So that's cool. Now, Greg, what advice would you give someone, like a kid or an adult, who wanted to start a business conference?
Well, the whole idea is to surround yourself with cool people you want to hang out with anyway. So our whole rule of Secret Knock is what? Be cool, right? So if someone might be rich and successful, but if they're not someone you want to hang out with in your living room, we stay away from them. And then what we do is surround ourselves with like-minded individuals, so that way we can share them with our friends. Again, back to that connecting thing.
That's cool. That's good advice. Now, for both of you, how do you do business as a family? What does that mean for you?
What do you think about that one?
I have no idea.
Well, you use Roy, like you use some of my.
I use Roy, yeah.
Yeah, so Roy does our audio. So basically, the connections again he uses and shares, and then you do the same thing around the neighborhood, though. Like you connect some of your friends with other friends as well, right? The whole idea is to make sure that we're all like intertwining. So I guess that's our answer. It keeps coming down to connection.
That's cool. So, Colt, how would you say to someone, like what would you say to them if they were having trouble loving themselves and maybe they're taking it out on others? What would you say to them to maybe help them feel uplifted?
Well, I have no idea.
Yeah, remember you're on the playground and someone was having a challenge and they were afraid to jump, and then you talked them out of it about not being afraid, right? What did you say to that person? Do you remember?
No.
No.
Not even a little bit.
Yeah. So,
Not even a little bit.
what, you forgot about that?
Tiniest dose. I don't even remember.
So let me ask you this. When people are going through challenges like the other day with Gavin, and he is going through his little things, and you make him feel better, what are the type of words do you say to him to make him feel better?
I'm not sure, actually.
You got a little stage fright right now, I can tell.
I'm a little bit stage fright. Little bit.
It's so funny. Yeah, a little bit. It's so funny. Remember those positive words that you can do it,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That's what you say, right? And it's kind of interesting. We always say on the playground, what can words do to you?
Nothing.
That's right. They have no power, right?
Exactly.
That's the whole idea. But on the same note, you can use words in a positive way, make someone feel good, right?
Yeah.
That's true.
And Colt, I think that's something really beautiful that you just did is you express the fact that you were nervous. So sometimes when I go on stage to speak, I'm really scared. And then I find I just kind of fall it all in sometimes. But then I find I'm stuttering and I don't know what to do. But then sometimes expressing the fact, oh, guys, I'm a little nervous here. Or I'm just a little scared to be talking to you guys. That's okay to do because it shows that you're even more powerful and you're not afraid to express your fear.
Yeah, by the way, I get stage fright too. Did I ever tell you that?
No, but you look like it.
I look like I get scared? I like I'm shaking on stage.
A little bit.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. The voice cracks, right? Yeah, it's part of it. Hey, when we're doing the red carpet and walking down, though, for some reason, you're not afraid of that one, though, right? Okay. Well, what's the next?
So the next question I would say is, how do you guys, what is for Greg, what is your mantra? What is the positive thing that you say to yourself?
You know, we do the same one. I am happy, I'm powerful, I'm brave, I'm wise, I'm worthy, I'm successful, I help people, because that becomes something that you start living by and you start looking for good. One of the funny things that we have a thing is that wherever we go, Colt, you always find what?
Money.
Yeah, he always finds money. And we can go to the grocery store, we can go to the amusement park, wherever it is, and you always find what?
Money.
And I asked him, I says, why is it that you always find money? And your answer was?
Because I look for it.
That's right, because he looks for it. And it's like this old Rumi, great philosopher said, whatever you seek is seeking you. When you start looking for something, you start finding it. If you look for bad, you tend to see bad. If you look for good, you find what?
Good.
That's the secret of life.
Oh, that's smart. And I find that sometimes when you fear something, the projection brings it up for you. And it's like, you're so afraid of this one thing, and then that's the only thing you've been seeing throughout your life. And I find that when you can finally step through the fear, it goes away. And then you get to look at what's positive, you know?
That's true. Yeah, you've been doing that parkour. What is it called?
Parkour.
Parkour. And it's interesting because you used to be afraid of climbing stuff, and now you're jumping like a monkey all over the place. What changed there? How did you get over that fear?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, was it the action by doing it one time?
Probably because I hit my head a whole bunch of times.
And it didn't kill you, right? It made you stronger. There you go.
Yeah. And sometimes you get to look at how you got hurt and see, you know what, if I can go through that, I'm good. I can go through anything.
And your voice getting hurt again, right?
So I'd love to keep talking with you guys more, but we need to take a quick break. So really fast, where can people go to find out more about you?
YouTube. You just go on YouTube or on TikTok. TikTok Motivation is our little channel. You can check us out.
Awesome. Definitely go check them out because they're so amazing and I absolutely adore them. So we've been talking with Greg and Colt Reid about business with kids. We'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Okay, we're back and we've been talking with Greg and Colt Reid about business with kids. So, Greg, we get to do funny FaceTime. So, are you guys ready? We get to make our funniest faces in 3 seconds.
Go.
Ready? 3, 2, 1.
That was my face.
Those are good funny faces. All right. So, Greg, what were you like as a kid, like when you were Colt's age?
Well, when I was 7, I don't even remember. I mean, that was 7 years old. You know, when I was in my teens, I started mowing lawns and had the little bug of being my own boss. I asked you the other day, I said, you don't want to be a cop anymore. You don't want to be a thing. You said you wanted to be something else. What is it you want to be when you grow up? An entrepreneur. And it's interesting because we went by a lemonade stand and you saw even a better way of doing it, right? So sometimes you don't have to be the first, but you can just improve on what's being done. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's cool. And sometimes I think that, I find that you both have really creative mindsets. And I think that's cool, especially for you, Colt, at a young age, being able to find things that maybe people could do a little bit better, or maybe ways that they could improve their lifestyle, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's even playing like Roblox. I mean, you're discovering all new ways of doing it, right? It's pretty cool. Yeah. That could be
play Minecraft.
Exactly. You could actually charge kids to teach them your tricks, how to build all those cool houses. Not a bad game. Yeah.
So, what advice would you give people to how they can stay creative? Even when they're adults, how can they be creative?
You know, what do you think? Look what's possible, right? You think that's it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, remember when we were building those little machines or those games where we drop a little marble and it go be all creative, right? We found new ways of doing something. So maybe the whole idea is to, instead of reinvent, we put a new hubcap on it and make it original in our own way. Like all the stuff you do for your video games, no one else has got your skin and your way of doing it, right? It's your own unique style. So find your own voice. Is that what you think?
Yeah.
There you go. Well, you're real talkative.
That's really good. So, Colt, something you both were talking about earlier is when you said that you want to be an entrepreneur when you grow up. So something for me is when people ask me what I want to be when I grow up, it's one of my least favorite questions because they're asking me to answer something that I'm going to do in 20, 30 years. And so I typically say, no, that's an interesting question. And then I go, I want to be here. And it's really something I find helps me because my little ego babies is what I call them, want to kick in and be like, why would you ask me this? Blah, 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 blah. But then I realize, I can simply just move around the question. A great speaker at business conference CEO Space said she was speaking and someone asked her to repeat something she said. And she said, I only go in forward, not in reverse. And I thought that was great, advice. So yeah. How do you guys
I might borrow that for my interviews because so many times, okay, if you could go back, what would you change? All those type of questions. It always drives me crazy. So I think I'll start using that one. I would just go forward, not in reverse. It's gonna be my tagline.
And it's because that's just going back in the past. You can't change what happened in the past.
That's right.
So why would you dwell on something that happened?
I find it funny that you're saying you're not going to do whatever you're going to do for 20, 30 years. Come on. You're there right now.
I'm pretty sure I know.
Yeah.
And I want to continue being an entrepreneur and show kids how to do that. But who knows, it may change. When I was younger, I always had my the typical business ideas. But now I'm like, ooh, let's build a cool pet mansion and all that. Yeah.
That's big.
When I was younger, I wanted to do a rescue shelter that doesn't hurt animals, and like all the not typical animals come there as well. So like crocodiles and stuff.
That's different.
Yeah, true.
You just got to separate them, I guess, is the key.
True.
It's interesting because you've never seen, like your mom and dad have never had a job before. We've always kind of worked from home and made up our own stuff. That's all you know, right? Like you've never seen someone go to work before.
I have.
Who?
I see Greg. I see.
Oh, the neighbors, things like that. Yeah, that's true. But I guess that goes down to, would you rather have a job or be your own boss?
Be my own boss.
Yeah, that's right. So that way you're in control of everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you like good lifestyle. Why do you like fancy stuff so much? That's what I got to figure out. I can't afford his lifestyle.
And
What you gonna answer that one?
No.
Okay.
yeah, I find that like I prefer to have my own job and like be my own boss, because that means when I'm feeling sick or I'm not feeling too great or I don't want to do something, my business is like steady enough, or whatever that word is, that I can take a few days off and it's not affected. And if there's little baby things I need to do, I'll do them. But in an actual job, a few days going by sick or something, that can crash an entire like industry or whatever that is, and then like you get fired. So it's nice because I'm not worried about that stuff.
Amen to that. Amen to that one. It's really interesting, but it's true. I mean, you get to work on life's terms. Like we can go to Hawaii, we can go on different trips and not have to worry about actually checking in, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. Plus, we're being creative when we're there looking for cool stuff.
So Colt, what do you like to do in like your free time? Like playing with or whatever you like to do?
Like at school?
It could be at school, it could be at home. Just what fun things?
I like to play with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's really it.
Yeah.
It's so funny because originally you were kind of addicted to video games, right? And then we instead of holding it back, we kind of fed him more of it. And then you kind of got burned out on it, right? And then you started having more fun just being outside with your friends and doing physical stuff. Yeah, we do more. What have we been playing? Pickleball?
Yeah.
You're dominating pickleball and frisbee, just stuff that normally you have to force someone into. That's kind of the stuff you enjoy the most now, right?
Yeah, that's cool. And I find that it's good to have like a healthy balance between like vegging and actually being active. Mm-hmm. And like for me, we have an Xbox and we love playing on it, but like we just moved, so we haven't like really had the time to get to it. And like sitting playing video games for a while, I find that I just kind of go brain dead after I do that. And like it's good having like a healthy vegging and like active lifestyle.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I think we've been doing a lot of that. So on like TV time, you watch this 30 minutes, an hour every other day. I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't even restrict this stuff. And it's not like a big thing. Same as video games. Same stuff. I think you spend 8 hours playing and running and jumping and playing cops and robbers and all that stuff more than anything, right? Mm-hmm. Is that more what you enjoy?
Yeah.
Yeah. You like the interaction of other people?
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes in and arrests all the neighbors. So that's and playing on the ATVs, right?
Mm. So, Colt, I would say, well, what would you say, like, how do you have, like, fun, active, playful time, and, like, how do you separate that from your, like, vegging, kind of playing video games, and not doing anything lifestyle?
I've never seen you stage fright before. I know, it's interesting.
Never been stage fright.
I know, it's kind of interesting. I wonder what that's about. Maybe it's because you've never done a video before. Could be.
Have.
Yeah, because on stage you just won't shut up. Now, all of a sudden, yeah, you're just all quiet and chill guy. So that's kind of cool. But you know what? All she's asking is this: how do you separate the different time? Like when you go outside and you're playing with your friends, and then you come in and you play on the video games. Is there like a system to it, or you just do it as you feel?
Just do it as I feel.
There you go.
And Cole, I find that sometimes it is a little scary thinking, I don't know who's watching me right now. And it's just like a camera, and that's all you have. And for some reason, that's why I like it more, because when I'm on stage, especially with smaller crowds, I can see everyone. So that means if I mess up, I'm embarrassed and I know every single person that I'm looking at. But I like the bigger crowds because I can't, like, it's so packed and crowded that I can't tell who's looking at me. So that way, if I mess up, I'm like, oh, I'm good. And
here's the good news: you can't mess up. It's just being us. That's the best part.
Exactly.
And you're a rock star. Remember that. Awesome.
I remember I was speaking at a business conference, and I had a microphone that clips onto your shirt, and it fell out of my pants, the back of it, and it was right as I was being introduced. And my mom was like right in front of me, and so was my dad. And I go, my microphone, it fell. And then he's done introducing me. And I'm like, hold on, technical difficulties. And then my mom's standing there trying to figure out how to clip it back on. And then I'm like, just so embarrassed by that. And so I just start stuttering. And then I repeat the same sentence like over and over again. And then I finally finish my talk and I just like run off. And all of my friends were in the front. And so I was just like, this is fun. So
I remember one time I was doing a talk and I was in front of like 1,000 people, and I sat there and started talking to the audience, and then over here, all of a sudden I hear, "Psst, Greg," and I look over and it's my mom on the side of this thing, and she wanted to come out on stage. I'm talking to an audience of all these people. I'm going, "Yeah, believe in your dreams, Psst, Greg." I go, "What the heck?" Right? I go, "Mom, I'm working over here." She goes, "I want to come out." So I go, "Hey, everyone, my mom wants to come." So she comes out on stage and then embarrassed me in front of 1,000 people. that was my reality.
That's awesome. All right. So before we wrap up, I want to do Super Neva questions, which means I'm going to ask you a bunch of fun questions, and you need to answer them as fast as you can.
Here we go.
You ready?
Yeah.
What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Ooh. What's your favorite animal?
Horses.
If you could be the tallest person or the shortest person, who would you be?
Tallest.
Ooh. Would you rather live in a small home or like a giant one?
Giant.
Ooh. If you could live in a hot tub full of hot fudge or like a pool full of giant marshmallows the rest of your life?
Giant marshmallows, I guess.
Ooh. If you could be a dragon or a unicorn, what would you be?
Dragon.
Me too. If you could have any superpower in the world, what would it be?
It would probably be being invisible.
Ooh. If you could be best friends with any superhero, who would you choose?
I would choose, I'll say, Spider-Man.
That's a good one. If you could go anywhere in the world for 1 week and like have your dream there, what would it be?
Definitely Hawaii.
Ooh. I've never been to Hawaii, but it sounds beautiful. If you could have any pet in the world, whether it's like not alive anymore or crazy, what would you choose?
I would definitely choose a bull.
A bull?
Yeah, that's a bull.
Really?
Yeah, a bull.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know what I would choose.
We need a bigger house.
I would choose a dragon, probably, just to have I would have s'mores 24/7. It would be easy. If you could eat any food for the rest of your life and only that, what would you you choose?
And you're not going to believe this, but a salad.
A salad?
Salad. Huh. It's a good one. I would choose like a giant buffet full of foods. What would you say to someone who's maybe having a hard time in their life or is being bullied? How would you uplift them?
I would say to say to them. I would say probably say like, I'm not sure what I would say.
That'd be strong.
Probably.
And words mean nothing.
That's what I was thinking about saying, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's true. You haven't experienced that yet. I mean, that's interesting. So in his world, he hasn't experienced that bullies and stuff like that yet.
Yeah. And I find that like I look up to younger kids, and like I volunteer for 2-year-olds at my church, and I always look up to them because they don't have any fear. Like the first time I walked into the room, 3 kids came up and hugged me. And that's normal for them. They're not afraid of it. But because it's almost like they haven't experienced enough in their life to be afraid. So they're just doing a bunch of random things, and it like makes someone's day. But me now, I've gone through enough to be like, you know what, I'm good. I'm not going to go up and talk to that stranger. And it's really cool being able to not have fear of things and just do them and realize that, like you guys said, words mean nothing, and you can do it, but you have to believe in yourself, you know?
That's awesome. I think
Colt, those are great answers.
We got to toughen you up a little bit. Get you out in the real world a little bit. That's it.
And Colt, Greg, what would you say to Colt when he's out there and he experiences those things?
Well, he brings it back and we talk it out. I mean, we have conversations every single day. And when we go at night, we talk about everything, tell stories. And the whole thing is we have a whole rule about, it's called truth. And when we say truth, what does it mean?
It means
tell the truth. Yeah. So there's unfiltered. So if he asks me a question that's even hard and says truth, I have to answer the exact truth. And it's kind of interesting because it really makes you live a truthful life, but also it's transparent. So there's not like secrets, right? That's cool.
My parents and I have like our codes, and like code red is like it's an emergency situation and it's only used mostly by the parents unless like I need it for some odd reason, and it means don't ask questions, do what I say, it's an emergency, I'll tell you later. We also have like code blue, and it's my code with them, and it's like if they're in a meeting or something and I typically want to interrupt them because I typically feel bad interrupting them, code blue means I need you right now. One of you take a break, and if they're both in a meeting, I can go up to them, say code blue, and that means I just need someone right now. And there's a lot of situations where like I look back and I think, oh, I could have used that. And now we have it. And I find that I'm in less situations because we're prepared.
That's great.
Yeah.
We should get our own codes, huh? I like that. Good idea.
So we are wrapping up. So from the both of you, what advice would you give someone in either a tough situation, having trouble loving themselves, or anything else? And then if you have any last closing words.
So what's the question again?
Like if someone is in a tough situation or like they're not sure how to be loving to others and how to like care about what other people like what other people's feelings are, if that makes sense. What advice would you give them so they do?
How do you make people feel good?
I'll say talking to them I don't know.
Yeah, but that's true. Yesterday was interesting. So you had a friend come by and they wanted to take you away because they were going to go do something, and you were already playing with another friend. And you said to them, say, hey, I'll play with you next time, but I'm already playing with this person, right? So it's just that communication. Don't you think that's key? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, the whole idea is like going through challenges. For me, it's always to reach up and not reach out. And that means I always find someone that can help me, not another person who's suffering the same thing. So if you're a starving artist, I don't go ask other starving artists about art because they don't know. But if I go to somebody who's been successful and something I want to do, I ask them for, guidance because they've already gone through it.
That's smart. So really fast before we wrap up, and that was great advice, will you remind people one last time where they can go to find out more about you?
TikTok, and it's TikTok Motivation.
Awesome. Again, definitely go check them out because they're so amazing, and I absolutely adore them. So thank you guys so much for coming on. And kids, remember that we all have superpowers, and we can change the world through high vibration and love.
Yeah.
Bye.
Ciao. Bye, Coquette.
Bye.